Brandon, do you know anything about cloning?
I don't want to say no, but I will say no.
Cody, do you know anything about cloning?
I don't want to say yes, so I'm going to say no.
And coming to the last participant here in the podcast, Brandon, do you know anything about cloning?
I want to say no, but yes. Who's this other Brandon in here?
Well, we'll delve into that and other mysteries. This is We Don't Know Anything, a brand new, still very young podcast. This is our 4th episode. And this week, we don't know anything about cloning. My name is Jamie Wilson. We usually don't do last names.
You're not supposed to expose yourself.
It was a gentleman's agreement because I outed Cody last episode. So the secret's out. If anyone goes all the way back to our first 4 episodes, they'll know our alter egos, and they can hunt us down.
Well,
there's one thing you don't want us doing. It's exposing ourselves.
Jeez.
Thanks, Brandon.
Hey, that's a Ghostbusters reference.
Under a minute, and we've already arrived. Joining us inauspiciously from St. Pete is Brandon. Say hello, Brandon, although I believe you already have.
Okay, so I'm here, and my name is Brandon. Then there's another Brandon. Say hey, Brandon. Hey. So there's a clone Brandon here.
I really only wanted to do that for the open, but
you're just saying hi to yourself. You're just talking to yourself.
No,
See,
personality disorder.
Okay.
I don't.
He's gonna go by Anthony. That's like our middle name. So
sure thing, Babs.
So, Anthony, say something. Okay, Cody, you're a jerk. I'm a real person.
See, I didn't think Brandon liked that opening joke very much, but he went much further with it than I was going to. As Anthony has already introduced, we're also joined by Cody, joining us from probably still sunny Orange County, California.
Yep, it's setting, but it's still up, and yeah, it's toasty.
All right, so this week's episode, we're struggling a little while, which is why it took us a couple weeks to put up a new episode. Sorry, everyone who was waiting with bated breath.
Sorry, Wayne.
Yeah. Sorry, Wayne.
Let down Steven Paducah.
Oh man, Steven Paducah's like, I had this great thing. They knew what was going on. They knew that I was in the NSA, and now they're not talking about me. Where's the love? Well, Steve from Paducah, we are back, and we are here for you, my friend.
He thought we shut down the whole cast because we got wise.
It's true.
So yeah, this week we're talking about cloning. I don't know how much we can talk about it because we don't know much about it, but we'll give it a try like we do every other week.
When the premise of your podcast is we don't know anything, the fact that we know a little bit kind of defeats the purpose. So therefore, I think we're in prime position to make this
For
podcast.
just a second, I thought you were going to try and say that we knew a little bit about cloning, which I don't know. I don't?
No, we don't. By training, I'm probably the most scientific of the three of us, I'd say, and I was a chemical engineer in school, and like biological sciences are definitely one of the things we did the least. So I had like a tertiary level biology class and nothing approaching the level of like, oh yeah, this is how you clone an organism, which when everybody thinks of cloning, you think of that.
I'll have you know that I got an 800 on my SAT-2 in biology 10 years ago when
everybody get back
graduating high school. So I may or may not know a thing or two about biology.
Did you have Dr. White?
Yeah, Dr. White. Dr. White loved it.
Dr. White's the best. If you couldn't tell, Brandon and this is Anthony talking, by the way.
That bit's gonna last the whole episode, isn't it? Like, that bit's gonna just keep going.
Yeah, it's true. So Brandon now, Anthony, shut up for a minute, and Cody went to high school together and had the same biology teacher who I think she's probably the smartest teacher at the school, at least probably the most well-credentialed.
Yeah. She's a genetic scientist teaching high school biology. Speaking of overqualified, she would be.
Yeah, no. She could not be on this podcast because she knows things.
Oh, yeah, she wouldn't be welcome here.
Nope. Nope. Locking the door. That said, if she does ever want to be on this podcast, I think it would be very entertaining.
Yeah.
Because while she may know a whole lot about some things, I would be willing to say that there are some other things that Dr. White probably doesn't know a whole lot about.
Dr. White probably does not know about NASCAR, so if we did that, you know.
Daytona. I'm just going to throw out Daytona. We did go to high school in the greater Daytona Beach area. Like, just by osmosis, there's a general knowledge of what NASCAR is.
Yeah, so maybe we'll bring her in more for the we don't know anything about the cover 3.
What about, like, we don't know anything about falafel or something like that? Maybe.
You're giving away our schedule, Brandon. Hold that a little closer.
But here's the big thing: is we got to determine, like, are we going to do falafel and shawarma in the same episode? So it's like we don't know a lot about street food or something like that, because that could be a great episode.
I mean, that's like
I would know nothing about shawarma.
Food.
Yeah, that's
like Mediterranean street food. Am I correct in saying that?
I would know literally nothing about shawarma if it weren't for the credit scene in Avengers. That's all I know about shawarma.
I mean, that would probably be a good one to bring Steven on for.
You would know way too much about that stuff.
That's true. It's true. He actually does know a lot of food. So
cloning.
His entire business is street food.
Well, here's the thing is because we don't know anything, bring someone on who maybe knows like little, we can like expose how little we know.
Oh yeah.
So basically it's like the opposite of what I think Bill Murray said regarding the Olympics. Speaking of which, if you want to hear more about the Olympics and what we don't know about, last episode, all about we don't know anything about the Olympics. That's right. That's the book. For our sponsor, we don't know anything about podcasting. But just let Mark know that I'm doing a good job of getting media shout-outs. He's our marketing director. He's an engineer, so he's well qualified to be our marketing director.
Yeah, he's a traffic engineer.
Of the Mac.
Anyway, what was I talking about?
Bill Murray quote.
Bill Murray quote about how they should always have a normal person competing alongside the Olympians just for point of reference.
Oh yeah.
Like, you watch this stuff and you're like, how hard can that be? And then like you try and run a 100-meter dash and like it takes you 50 seconds to complete it or something like that. And you're like, wow, Usain Bolt has completed more than 5 of these in the same amount of time. And I'm sitting here having an asthmatic attack. And he's finishing like, pounding his chest and showboating.
Yeah. Danielle was actually just saying that. We were watching the women's 400 hurdles, and she's like, they look like they're running so slow. And I just said, I bet they're not.
Yeah, it's all relative. Like, you sit there and like, wow, oh, look at that person, that chump in lane 8 in the swimming race that's getting blown out by everybody. And then, like, you try and swim against him. Like, It makes me think of Brian Scalabrine. Shout out to Brian Scalabrine, White Mamba. You don't know about White Mamba.
Came up on an episode about cloning, like, oh, hey, what are you guys cloning? Scalabrine, bro. Like,
Scalabrine, yeah.
Whose money are you wasting?
Yeah, like the 11th man on the Boston Celtics. He was a perfect fit for the Celtics. Like, red hair, like, looked Irish as can be. But anyway, like, everybody's like, oh, he's not that good because he's just like the 11th man. So he did, like, pick up, like, one-on-one challenges with people and just embarrassed them. Because all these guys that, like, think they, like, ball hard, and then Brian Scalabrine's just throwing their junk back, just embarrassing them, taking them down into the block and just dunking on them and stuff. Like, you forget because you watch him next to LeBron James, and yeah, relative to LeBron James, he's not very good at basketball. But that man is getting paid quite a large sum of money to play professional basketball in the NBA. Yeah. He's probably actually really good, even though, relatively speaking, when you take, what is it, the 12-man rosters, the 30 teams, the 360 players. Like, yeah, he's in the top 360 players in the world. In basketball.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of draw the Olympic parallel that you were talking about with Bill Murray, it would be like, if you took one of the Olympians and threw him in like a YMCA pool, they would be lapping. They'd be beating people by 10 seconds, which, by the way, Katie Ledecky did to the actual Olympians.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things about this whole, this Olympics and cloning thing is, I wonder, how many of these, Olympians that they have now are, the sons and daughters of, former Olympians? Do, Olympians, breed? And they're like, you know what? We are going to have the perfect child. We will have this perfect, Olympic specimen.
Well, I know there's at least, the American and the Canadian, the guy, Ashton Eaton, who's the decathlon. His wife is the heptathlete, so they're working on it.
She won bronze, I think.
Yeah.
The Canadian.
Wait, are they the ones in the Best Buy commercial or whatever?
Yes. First.
Yeah, that's a great commercial.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't have cable.
No, it's on even if you watch on Apple TV, it's.
Yeah, I don't have that. I watched it on the NBC Sports app on the Xbox One, and they don't do commercials, which is
perfect.
Okay, here's the thing though: is I've done the same thing on the NBC app on the Apple TV, and they do occasionally show commercials, and when they don't, when it just says this will be coming back momentarily, it literally just sits there for
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying it's I'm just saying all it does for me is sit there and say coverage will return shortly or something, and then you just sit there and kind of stare at the screen awkwardly.
Yeah.
Not sure what to do.
It forces you to talk with people who.
Yeah. If only you could clone yourself and have a conversation with yourself. I feel like that would not be as fun as.
Anthony and I have been having a good time about that. I mean, we keep each other company. I mean, we're our own best friend.
You guys have just been trading off who's been talking this whole time, haven't you?
Yeah, Anthony's kind of tired. I mean, I went to the personal trainer this morning, and he just kind of ran for a little bit. So, that was kind of how that went.
Interesting.
So.
Okay, so Cody was ever so slightly trying to bring us back to topic here, because I thought we would try to give us 10 minutes of talking about cloning, and we've managed to make it, I think, about 10 now without talking about it.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so
right on target. But no. What Anthony was talking about there got me thinking, because he's talking. Okay. Anthony and Brandon are talking, and we don't know that it's Brandon versus Anthony, which makes me think of the excellent movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger called The Sixth Day. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Such a great movie. And I feel like for an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, it delves into the nuances of the ethical quandary of cloning. Does it approaches coherent thoughts on what is the moral thing behind cloning? What is it a thing that we should do? Is it something we should just not pursue at all?
Yeah, I mean the whole idea of cloning a human's kind of crazy, because for one thing, you think a lot of people think cloning, just create another human, but it's not like 3D printing. You're not going to make a copy of yourself today. You're going to create a cell and then have a baby, and then you're going to raise a baby of yourself.
I feel making the cloning is kind of like deviled eggs. You get an egg and you scoop out the nucleus, and then you put DNA into where the nucleus was, and it makes a clone of whatever DNA you put in.
And if you leave it out too long at the party, nobody wants them anymore.
Yeah, it starts to turn green, and it's kind of weird. And so,
I mean, I'm going to admit to not knowing a whole lot about making deviled eggs.
I mean, I hate deviled eggs personally. Even though I'm from the South, and you're supposed to love deviled eggs from the South, I think that's a thing. But
yeah, but so is loving baked beans and barbecue beans, and Like nobody really like loves barbecue baked beans.
You bite your tongue, sir.
I was wondering where the parallel was going, because if you were going to draw lines between loving baked beans and loving deviled eggs, you were going to go to a very dark place of similarities there.
Well, it's just Southern food that's like pimento cheese. Can we just... No.
That's a Southern thing?
It's a Georgia thing.
I'm okay with pimento cheese. I don't know about you guys.
Okay, I will say the one thing I'm not a big fan of is collards, man. Like my whole mom's side of the family are from Alabama.
Yeah, I can respect that opinion. I disagree wholeheartedly. I love me some collards. Like here's the thing about collards. Like I will not eat them if I do not have a large quantity of hot sauce like immediately available, and if I'm not eating some sort of smoked meat. Like if I'm not eating some sort of barbecue meat and I don't have a lot of hot sauce with me, like no. Not happening.
I will tell you,
do it.
The hot sauce is not so much for me as much as like if I have a ton of like pepper sauce is the best, and that's the only time that it's like tolerable for me to eat collards. I think it's something with the texture. I'm not sure what it is, but you know.
I mean, it is soggy vegetables. Like
True.
I can get. I mean, James is a texture guy too, so I would be interested in his opinion on this.
Yeah, I like collard greens, but yeah, the whole texture thing, I'm pretty touchy. If we had a podcast, we don't know anything about soggy bread. Yeah, I'm all about that. Forget it. I'm out.
I mean, we could probably cover that, and we don't know anything about communion.
No.
Not touching that, but all right.
That's a shout out to all the clergy that are listening. So Wayne, wherever you are,
I'm gonna pray for your soul, Brandon.
So deviled eggs, yeah. So that basically kind of is the.
Is that how it works?
If you were to boil it down, like you're basically you could take a cell, like a skin cell, and pull the genetic material out of the nucleus and put it into an egg cell that you pulled the DNA out of, basically. And one thing I was actually, I opened a couple of tabs because that's about all the research I allow myself, and the couple of tabs go the spectrum of the cloning article on Wikipedia to the cloning fact sheet at the National Human Genome Research Institute. So a couple little variants in where I'm going to my sources, but yeah, so I mean, you've got cloning that you can do on like a molecular level. Like technically, if you're just copying DNA fragments, like that's considered cloning. But when you say cloning, everybody thinks like Dolly the sheep, and you know.
Wait, weren't the like the Raelians? Weren't they big into cloning? Do you remember that?
Raelians? No, you're thinking of the Caminoans. Caminoans?
Oh, you're right. You're right.
You're thinking of the tall, like the lanky, like. Walk as though like a soft breeze.
Look, they were under orders, okay? Master Sifo-Dyas talked to them.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. You know, they're under orders, and they just had to install Order 66 into them. Like, they didn't know what was going to happen, not aware of what was going to happen if they, you know, followed through with this. Like, no, I'm not buying that. Like, they know what's going on. Like, they are intimately involved in it. And let's talk about their choice of subject. I mean,
Anthony wants to talk here for a second. Anthony, go ahead and talk. Okay, so one thing I think we probably need to reference is the fact that how excited we all got when we thought of the idea of, hey, if we have an episode about cloning, it's just going to devolve into a talk about Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that text took like 5 seconds for Cody to respond to, and it was, you know, I'm pretty sure I know everything about cloning. I've seen Attack of the Clones more than once.
Yeah, this is true. I am an unashamed Star Wars fan.
I don't see any reason to be ashamed.
Before my wife and I got married, I asked her, babe, will you go see Star Wars The Force Awakens with me on opening night? And she said yes. And so then I went and got a ring. That may not be exactly how it worked, but that question did happen. And it wasn't like a no would have ended things, but a yes was really nice. important things to know. I mean, I've also read the Timothy Zahn Thrawn trilogy, which delves into a whole better set of cloning and stuff. And really,
man.
What?
Trioculus, the Emperor's clone.
Yeah. No, he wasn't in that. He had Jedi Master Sibao, who's a clone who was just insane, like super ridiculously strong in the Force, but because he's a clone, he had mental issues. So he was nuts.
I thought there was like a clone of the Emperor.
Yeah, that was in later books. I will admit to not having read all of the expanded universe ones. R.I.P. Expanded Universe. You live long and prosper as legends.
Well, I heard they're bringing Thrawn into the canon.
Yeah, he's coming in the new season of Star Wars Rebels, and they got Timothy Zahn to write his background story. So I'm intrigued, admittedly, to see how he works, in the new framework that they presented, the new canon. How he's gonna kind of keep, what he's gonna change about Thrawn and his story. But he's, I guess, the new main villain for Star Wars Rebels.
So for those of you who are uninitiated, Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we're talking about here, in the books, he's tall, sexy dude with blue skin and red eyes. He's kind of crazy, but he's a striking looking dude.
Yeah. If you've ever watched Australian Rugby Sevens, they have a player named Ed Jenkins. I encourage both Jamie and Brandon to look up Ed Jenkins. Basically, if you dye Ed Jenkins' body blue and color his eyes red, you have Thrawn, chiseled chin, stand-in for Superman, that kind of guy. That's who we're looking for.
Right. He shaves his own beard with his chin. That's how Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, completely agree. So.
Yeah. I mean, he is striking. Let me tell you this. That man. Oh my goodness.
Cody, you've been in 277s, buddy.
What?
Nothing.
Anyway, yeah, Thrawn.
We're digressing.
Are we?
I don't know if this podcast knows what digressing is.
I believe this podcast is well aware of what digressing is, because that is all this podcast is intended to do.
How would we know the difference?
What difference? Yeah, so Attack of the Clones.
So clones can be rather violent? Is that what you're saying?
They can be. Yeah, and as much as you trust them and you build good relationships with them and they're friends, and you fight alongside them against the evil droids, trying to prevent Skynet taking over and all that jazz.
Wait, now we're mixing.
Yeah. Well, hey,
yeah, anyway,
for the record, there was Cody. Anthony has a question.
No, Anthony.
Okay, actually, Anthony, here, just talk. Okay, Cody. So there is a Commander Cody that is a clone in Attack of the Clones. So how can we trust that you're not a clone? Anthony's a little bit high. So sorry, that's not true. Family podcast. No, none of us. There's not. There's no.
Yeah.
Brandon, I'm going to break out the dainty leash. Don't make me do it.
So
is that like the comfy cushion? Is this like the Spanish Inquisition Monty Python sketch?
I was going with the first episode reference, going all the way back to the we don't know anything about podcasting. It's got the little dainty chihuahua leash for him.
Oh, that one. Sorry, I was thinking
one
more
that I had to
comfy cushion.
Yeah.
Oh God, with the comfy cushion.
Back to the question, you clone Commander Cody.
I can neither confirm nor deny. I will plead the fifth, and will not self-incriminate. Uh,
I would advise you to do that.
Thank you.
Anthony doesn't have a lot of
the leading quote on Wikipedia about this guy, whose actual name is CC2224, is Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, "Good man, that Cody," which I just think draws more suspicion to you.
Because
you are a good man.
I am a good man.
You might be this clone. That could be you.
Could be me.
But didn't Commander Cody turn on Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I think in the third movie he does. After the kind of a letdown fight with General Grievous. I feel like we're going to talk about the prequels. Let's just talk about how they introduce characters that seem awesome, super powerful, really cool. Like, oh, I don't know, Darth Maul. General Grievous. It's like, ooh, his arm split. He's got a bunch of lightsabers, and then he's in it like with an asthmatic, rasping cough for 5 minutes, and then he dies, and you're just like, okay, all right.
I'll be perfectly honest.
I got like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I got a whole lot more
like
out of
Maul,
General Grievous in like a lightsaber fighting video game that I had for like PlayStation 2.
Oh yeah.
Here's the thing: it's like we all knew it's like, oh man, that'd be really cool if they like bring him back with robot legs and stuff like that, because that'd be kind of like foreshadowing for Vader. And I remember this like after episode 1, it's like they could bring him back with like legs and all this kind of stuff, like he could survive this, like Luke survived. And they did in the Rebels show,
Clone Wars, the cartoon. Which
if
we're going to talk about prequel stuff, Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon, way better than anything that Star Wars prequel movie theater did.
Yeah, I just started watching some of it, and I would agree that it's pretty good. But that was the one thing. It's like I feel like there was so much you could have done in the prequels as far as bringing Maul back, because now he's got kind of a vendetta, and then you have this whole thing with him and Obi-Wan again that they could fight again and have that build throughout the prequel trilogy, where he is like the ultimate baddie that is got this grudge match with Obi-Wan. Instead, we're forced to just have
Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Or do we get Jar Jar instead? Yeah, instead of like super cool, mysterious, awesome bad guy, we get Jar Jar.
Well, and then plus once they fit him out with the robot legs, he can look at Palpatine and just say, "I got new legs." No, that doesn't. That wouldn't. You can't see him with that voice. That wouldn't fit. I don't know.
He does it. He says like 2 words in an entire movie.
And he just says like this. You can never tell what he's saying.
No, that was Bane. You're thinking of Bane, which is
You're talking about Batman.
Yeah, that's who you're thinking of. Is Tom Hardy as Bane?
I was born.
I saw some like meme of him, but it was like Bill Cosby quotes. And yep, that I hear that.
No, I really I was really pumped up. I was one of the people who enjoyed The Dark Knight way too much. I did the Halloween costume of the Joker that year, and then went to go see The Dark Knight Rises, and the whole first scene in that airplane, it's like loud because the airplane's ripped apart and whatever, and he's like, and I'm looking at the people I went with like, what is he saying? I have no idea what he's saying.
See, Jamie, I actually think there's a picture of you as the Joker standing next to me as Mario.
Yes, that was a really good Halloween party.
Because I
believe, was that the year I was Charlie Brown?
This was the one where we went up to our friend Tucker's place in Jacksonville right before the.
That's right.
It was before the Florida-Georgia game.
Yep. And I didn't go because I had rugby, and then I played a bunch of old men down in Miami, and they dislocated my collarbone because they were jerks. Yeah. And we listened on a radio to Urban Meyer calling timeouts and running up the score and using Emmanuel Moody to do it against Georgia.
And it was awesome.
The year before.
Yep.
Okay.
That was where we were sitting. And Jamie, were you sitting right next to me for that game?
I think we were.
because that was the one where
That's the Brandon Spikes game, right? That's the Brandon Spikes game where he just shakes his dreads in front of the dude, like after laying the dude out, just shakes
that
his
was
dreads.
literally 20 feet.
Yeah, we were in the
20
zone.
feet
That
from
was. Yeah.
I thought he was gonna eat his face. He's just like on top of like, I'm about to ruin your whole day.
He may have. You can't prove he didn't.
It's true. Nah, we had to wait a few years before Spikes would, or whoever that was that destroyed Wayshawn Ely's face. Who was that who did that?
That was Spikes as well.
Is that Spikes?
That Spikes. That was the next year where Spikes tried to poke his eyes out, right?
Yeah.
Because that was you were graduated. I was a senior. That was the day we went over with Dancy and Charles to the house sitting, and you and I just like pigged out on guacamole.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Right? That was so much. That was such a fun day because
I've never ate more guac in my entire life.
And that guac was good. And we ate drumsticks and bratwurst from the Meat Lab. Meat Labs sounds like a cloning facility. Not true. On campus butcher shop at the University of Florida. That place is legit.
Great.
See, I would be all for cloning for like the most, like the best hogs or the best pigs or the best like things that we eat. Yeah, clone those things, man.
Isn't that what? Isn't that Monsanto?
I think for the intent of eating them, I think breeding them's good enough.
Isn't that the GMO debate? Like, isn't that all basically what that is? Like designer food kind of thing?
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you get in and pull genes out that do specific things, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, isn't technically like just like selective breeding genetic modifying?
Well,
that's my thought on the process, but
the argument is
you're
doing it naturally. You're not literally going in and cutting genes out of DNA, which it is done more literally than you would think that sounds.
There's a part of me that says like, what is it? I think it's a Daniel Tosh standout, which content warning if you go find Daniel Tosh, but talking about it's like, look, there's a part of me that just says juice everything, do every little thing that you can to make a better pig or a better cow that will taste more delicious. Like,
I do have to say,
I don't care.
Along those lines, I read. I don't know if you read the article posted a couple months back, basically of a takedown of the farm-to-table industry in the greater Tampa area.
You mean farm to fable?
Farm to fable, which, yeah, that's a dumb pun.
That's actually the title of the series.
Is that the name of the article? Okay.
Yeah.
But, oh my goodness, like reading that, like made up, like everything is just faked on that, and never believe what you see because people lie to you so that they will get your money. But like, I've had like organic grass-fed beef. That stuff's pretty like delicious. I have to say, like, that's some good burger. I have to say, like, sometimes maybe less is more.
I mean, why not both? I mean, if it tastes good, I'm gonna buy it. So.
Yeah, that is my feeling on things. Is if it tastes good, I'm gonna eat it. But yeah, sometimes maybe just letting them roam out in the field and cropping grass ends up with some delicious beef. I don't know what the beef industry, cattle industry looks like in Argentina, but I can tell you that it produces delicious red meat. They have fantastic cattle products down there, like all types, because the ice cream down there is delicious, like just so good. Multiple versions of dulce de leche, which I love. But the chocolate is good. The ice cream is good. It's rich. It's creamy. It makes you fat. It's a good thing I didn't have I just was walking around everywhere. I was walking like several miles a day, just like because that was the only way I had to get around. Because people driving there are crazy. They have intersections where you just go, and then your street keeps going until the other street is able to break through that traffic barrier, and then they will go until that you are able to then like get past them. Which is an insane method, and I do not recommend it for your traffic flow purposes.
That kind of reminds me of of not knowing what you're doing but just hoping it's going to work. It kind of reminds me of the roundabout situation in Gainesville that I've been hearing about, which is
You mean just roundabouts in Florida? Like, let's be real. Every roundabout situation in Florida is.
Yeah.
Don't run into me.
Yeah, every one of those is like, all right, I know how this works. Do you?
Yeah. It's a constant figuring out of like, we're cool, right? We're cool, right? Don't hit me!
Or my favorite is the person who still, it could be like 3 a.m. You're driving and they stop, they look. It's like you're defeating the entire purpose of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cloning.
So I have to say, I'm scrolling through. I was delving a little bit into episode 2 and ended up on Jango Fett's Wikipedia page, and it says in early drafts of Attack of the Clones, Jango Fett, who was like the template for all the clones, basically, like they made them off of him. In early drafts of the script, his first name was Jamie. Like, admittedly, it's in a Star Wars way. It's like J''MEE. I feel gypped. I could have been
Jamie
the guy.
Fett. It sounds like, the bad guy off 90210 or something like that. Jamie got back from boarding school.
He got kicked out of boarding school.
He got kicked out of boarding school for smoking cigarettes.
He rides a motorcycle to school.
He's so dangerous, but I love him so much.
He probably spells his name the same way as they were tending to spell it Star Wars, ironically enough.
Right.
I mean, at least...
So, yeah.
Yeah. Another kind of cool character. I don't feel like... that was one thing I was disappointed in. Like, we don't have to... And what I did like in this Force Awakens versus the prequels is, like, yeah, there's characters that we know and love from the first one, but, like, the main characters of Force Awakens are all brand new people. I felt like every other person that showed up in the prequel trilogy was like, oh, look, we're making a reference to the first movie. See? Look, first, like, reference to the original trilogy, see? And it's, like, got a neon sign over it.
Greedo is a baby? He'll show up, too.
Yeah. And he's still not going to shoot first. Ha 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 ha! Tongue-in-cheek joke.
Side note.
You want to know why Boba was so pissed off all the time? Watch his dad die.
Yeah, like, why did he have to be, like, I don't know. It just didn't seem like that was a necessary thing. Like, why? It didn't do anything for me. It was just like, oh, we live in a galaxy full of, like, billions of people and billions of stars, but, like, it's the same 3 families still involved with everything.
It's kind of like the Kardashians.
I have no idea anything about the Kardashians. Other than I know that one of them has a child named Northwest. They were bought out by, I believe, Delta Airlines, and no longer exist.
Side note, I want to take a little bit of funny, nerd, ridiculous movie trivia. It's funny in that Jango Fett, now that we're talking about him, gets killed by Samuel L. Jackson, and then Samuel L. Jackson's character is killed by Django in Django Unchained. Think about that.
Well, I'm pretty sure those don't exist in the same 2 universes.
There was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, so, exactly.
Yeah.
What about the time that Samuel L. Jackson died in the Star Wars universe? Does that factor in?
I mean, look, he also, a Samuel L. Jackson type character, could have died. Like, Deep Blue Sea was on Camino, y'all. So,
we were pulling the randomest movies into the same. How did Deep Blue Sea end up in this? Like,
because it's a water world, man.
Oh no, we're not talking about Waterworld. We're not talking about that.
I want to drink my urine.
Oh my gosh!
Y'all be quiet. I'm gonna go take. He's been talking really, really bad stuff, so I'm going to go throw him off a cliff, and that's going to, I'm going to be arrested for making an obscene clone fall. That's your guys' pro of the night.
Yeah, sure. That makes me think of coming full circle to the 6th day at the very beginning when they have that football game. And just remember, football is an incredibly violent sport, and human bodies are not meant to do what happens in a football game at a regular basis. And like the star quarterback on the team gets hurt, and he's like, I don't know, somehow insured by the cloning people, and so like the guy's like alive but never gonna play again. And so they, like a horse that breaks his leg, put him out of his misery.
They put him down?
They put him down and then pop in a new clone of this guy. And like, here's new Johnny Football clone coming back. Oh, miraculous recovery.
Oh, hold on. That quarterback is playing football, with which Johnny is currently not.
True. I was trying to refer to him as a generic name because I don't remember his name, and I couldn't think of Keanu Reeves' character in the replacements.
Or we could just make another clone of Johnny Manziel with all the physical tools and just keep him away from himself. Send him to Camino. There's no drugs there.
You know who I would like to see have party together and see what kind of shenanigans they would get into? Is let's get Johnny Manziel and Ryan
Lochte. I knew exactly where you were going.
This is what our friendship is. We know we communicate like this.
I knew exactly where you were going. I was like, oh man, because yeah, I mean that's a reality show. Even though Ryan already had a reality show that went terribly and just made him look like an idiot.
Well, what else is there?
Made him look like an idiot. I mean,
I'm not saying that it was an inaccurate portrayal of Ryan Lochte. I'm just saying that it did make him look like an idiot.
And to be fair, we love Ryan Lochte because Ryan Lochte went to our high school and our college and is an American hero. But Stephen Hawking, he is not.
I'm not even going to touch that statement because that could go in so many wrong ways, and I would inappropriate and mean.
There's even a lot lower bar you could say he's not, but yeah, for certain he's not Stephen Hawking. That's accurate. It's accurate.
But he's an American hero.
He is a real American hero.
And well, doing a slight callback to our last episode on the Olympics and how Rio was maybe not the best place to have the Olympics. Really glad to hear Ryan Lochte is okay after getting mugged and apparently having a gun cocked to his head.
Okay, did you hear how he responded to that? He said they asked for our stuff, and I was just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, his first thing, because they were all dressed up like police officers, he said they all pulled guns on us, and I was like, we haven't done anything wrong. I'm not giving you our stuff.
Yeah.
I love it. At the point that the police officers are asking for your stuff, I think you've realized they're not police officers.
No, but I bet he didn't. And I also think, I read a buddy that was like, oh, there's no way he was lying, like he was totally crapping himself. Like, no. Everything about Ryan Lochte is like, he's just like, chill, bro. Yeah. No, man. We didn't do anything wrong. I'm not giving you my stuff. You got a gun on my forehead. Like, here's my wallet.
Yeah. I could very much see Ryan Lochte's like sitting there like a Jack Russell Terrier, cocking his head to the side. Like, what? I don't understand what's happening.
But I didn't do anything, man. All right, here's my wallet. Oh, I can keep my credentials so I can still get back in the Olympic Village. Cool. All right, I'm going home now.
A good thing. I liked one of the byline, or not bylines, but one of the little taglines I saw for the story said they did confirm that they said they took cash and credit cards, and they said it was confirmed that no Olympic medals were lost. It was like these guys are just riding out to a party with Olympic medals on their necks.
Gonna be honest, I would. I mean, if I ever wanted an Olympic medal. I might be riding around to random parties with it around my neck.
That's what we call a universal door opener. Like that. Can I get in here? Hey man, you're not on the list. Yeah, well I got this gold medal because I
got this gold medal around my neck. Like, yeah, that and being Buzz Aldrin. Like, hey man, the list is full, nobody's getting in. I walked on the moon. Okay, yeah, you come in. We got space. Like, we're gonna kick those guys out, so you can come in.
Yeah, they totally didn't walk on the moon.
Well, and then there's the other thing that you wonder, like, you know, were they wearing U.S. outfits?
Hold up. Stop. Anthony, you're a moon truther? Like,
no, I was. That's not the case.
You were supposed to be out of here.
I threw Anthony off the top of a cliff. Okay, I told you I made an obscene clone fall.
Wait, what cliff in St. Petersburg are you speaking of, sir?
I've been to Florida. There ain't no cliffs. I mean, there's people named Cliff. I have friends named
It's a cliff. So
the front step of the stoop.
No, what I was saying is when I was saying, like, oh, it's like we're gonna have you guys in here. We're gonna kick those guys out. And my comment was, yeah, they totally haven't been on the moon.
They ain't been on the moon. Okay, I feel better. I just wanted to call you out on your moon trutherness.
Look, here's the thing. I mean, we all know that The Shining was just a confession by Stanley Kubrick.
Got it. Yeah. I read on Grantland, I think it was, that they did a whole series on different interpretations of Stanley Kubrick movies regarding conspiracy theories. Fascinating.
Okay, there is a movie called Room 217.
That's it. Yeah.
That movie is crazy. Like, I'm not sure if for a while there's certain parts it's like I'm not sure if like the documentarian actually thinks this is true or if he's just doing to say, hey, these guys are crazy. Check this out. You know, because there are people who totally believe what they're saying. And it's just like, because there's like this one like sweater where this kid's wearing like an Apollo rocket on the sweater, and how that somehow means, hey, dummy, that means that I faked the moon landing. It is crazy. You know, if I were one to engage in extracurricular activities that involved a plant variety, I would think that's exactly what that feels like. I don't know if that's the case, but after watching it for like an hour, I was like, I don't know what this feeling is, and I'm not sure if I ever want to repeat it because this does not seem legal. So, you know, it's but so if you want one of those nights,
I mean, my wife and I garden. Like, we've got flowers growing on our porch, and none of what you've described makes me think anything of like that. But speaking of conspiracy theories, and here it goes. Next week on we don't know anything. We don't know anything about the SEC East quarterbacks.
Yes. Well, nobody knows anything about SEC quarterbacks.
That's the thing. Like, nobody knows anything about SEC East quarterbacks. Like,
okay, so I was just gonna say, sitting right here, let's name how many we can figure out.
Josh Dobbs.
Luke Del Rio, obviously.
Del Rio. No.
Wait, Austin Appleby could be there.
What's up? Austin Applebee's. If that's not just
Jacob Eason.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Georgia gonna be Jacob Eason or like Hudson Mason or who finished the year for them? It was even a different guy.
No, okay. It was the guy that they benched to play the third-string quarterback against Florida.
Grayson Lambert, right?
Grayson Lambert, that's it. He's going to start this year as the starter, and then Jacob Eason's going to come in and then get caught for using anabolic steroid and get suspended for an entire year. That's what happens when good quarterbacks come. Sorry. I'm not bitter about Will Grier at all.
No, never.
His thing is, my understanding is that Del Rio was outplaying Grier in practice, but Del Rio had to sit out a year.
I mean, I want to believe that. I just want to see it happen against an actual team. But yeah, that's our that's next week. Is the conspiracy theory of why Nick Saban is holding down the man that is the SEC East quarterbacks.
Mm. Yeah, we'll get to that and other deeper mysteries.
Deeper mysteries.
You know, because I think Nick Saban just keeps like a whole list of people of like quarterback clones where he's like, oh, you're a first-year quarterback? All right, we're gonna win a national title with you. So It's just I don't know where he gets these things. I'm hoping Mac has the secret, so we'll just go with that.
That explains the level of quarterback play because he doesn't even wait till they're fully matured. He just has these clones, pulls them out, throws them out on the field. There, go.
Right.
Derrick Henry's going to run anyways.
Yeah, just hand the ball to the big guy behind you and let the really large guys in front of you block. Okay, good job.
So we unified clones and Nick Saban and next week. So there, that's where we'll land.
We can agree that Emperor Palpatine is most closely aligned to Nick Saban, whose name is not too far away from Nick Satan. So therefore, clearly, there's a conspiracy theory that we're dealing with an unholy alliance of talent.
Oh, that's readily apparent.
So